I was thinking today, yesterday, as we've been talking extensively about Donald Trump's tax plan, the abortive and disastrous tax plan that he's proposed, that the Syrian bombing has really been forgotten by so many in the United States already. I'm guessing you remember that sort of pointless and fruitless bombing of Syria by airstrike that Donald Trump ordered a couple of weeks ago. 59, I believe, was the number, Tomahawk missiles. It was a strike that was likely illegal under both U.S. and international law. It accomplished nothing. The next day, the runway, the airport area that was the target of the strike was up and running. Planes were flying in and out of there. Donald Trump saw kids being gassed on television by the Assad regime and decided to send some missiles. But nothing changed. And now we're on to tax plans. We haven't heard whether that strike was part of some broader strategy of Donald Trump's. Very, very doubtful. Guy barely even understands what's going on there. How could it possibly be part of a larger strategy? No one has forced Trump's hand to get him to actually present what the point of that strike was and what the broader plan is, if there even is one. And Donald Trump has not had to explain the legal rationale after he very publicly said under President Obama that if Obama went into Syria, he would need congressional approval. And by the way, that it didn't make sense to go into Syria, that it would just cause problems. Donald Trump choosing to do airstrikes in Syria, forgetting or choosing to ignore the correct statement he made that President Obama would have needed congressional approval, didn't seek congressional approval, and has offered no explanation whatsoever for why he did not do that. It's also kind of hard to even call it an attack when Trump phoned ahead to let Russia know that it was coming, and then again, the airfield that was hit somehow managed to still be operational and was used to launch planes later, by some accounts, the same day or certainly the next day. So my broader thought on this is part of the sort of wall of chaos and BS strategy. And this plays into Steve Bannon's ideas. You'll remember that a couple of weeks ago, I pointed out that Steve Bannon was removed from the principles of the National Security Council. I agreed with it. He never should have been on the National Security Council to begin with, but after all, nothing much changed. Number one, Stephen Bannon was still in the Mar-a-Lago Situation Room, along with Jared Kushner and Trump and military officials during the strikes of Syria, the Syrian airstrikes that we've been talking about. So he's clearly still very, very involved. And the wall of BS idea, where, it's a crazy tax plan. There's a bogus replacement to the first Obamacare replacement attempt, multiple failed immigration bans, and Ivanka's at the White House. It is a wall of BS, and it plays into Bannon's ideas of deconstructing the administrative state. And that's something that he's talked about wanting to do. And if you are constantly creating chaos and constantly creating scandal upon scandal and confusing and shifting narratives and sending your entire team out there basically to just lie unabashedly, that goes towards this broader idea of deconstructing the administrative state. There's too much to keep up with. We don't know what Trump is doing. We don't know what Trump is thinking. We can't keep track of how many cronies are benefiting from what Donald Trump is doing, including Trump and his family himself. And it is all playing really, really well into what we know are Steve Bannon's goals, priorities, and ideas. And talking to people here at the conference in Las Vegas, I don't want to call it a unanimous consensus, but when I talk to all sorts of different media hosts about who do we think is really running the show, the general consensus is that it's Steve Bannon. And the level to which that is horrifying is, almost beyond words. I'm having trouble finding the words. Later on today's program, we will be revisiting my classic interview with Pastor James David Manning. This is the guy who thought that Starbucks was using the DNA of gay men to make their lattes taste better. How he knew that it would make them taste better, I don't know, but I did ask him that during our interview. So we're going to be getting to that a little bit later. Also, we will be dealing with audience questions a little bit later today. So thanks to everybody who's joining us. Back after this. I'm really glad to tell you about this new sponsor of the show that has launched with us this week, Tagadab, the hosting specialists. They offer a range of hosting options that is both affordable and flexible. This includes dedicated hosting, virtual private servers, cloud server options, custom server solutions, as well as co-location services tailored to your business and to your project. Tagadab is really proud of their expert hosting specialists. With many companies, it's hard to really get the experts on the phone who can actually help you with what you're doing, with your project, with your business. And with Tagadab, you can do exactly that. They currently have a 9.7 out of 10 Trustpilot review rating. That is excellent under the Trustpilot rating algorithm. With a growing number of people interested in moving their businesses and projects to the cloud, you can get a £10 credit, that's 10 British pounds, to all new customers signing up. This gives you an opportunity to try the service. Even though Tagadab is in the UK, you can be anywhere you want. And to take advantage of that sign-up credit of £10, go to signup.tagadab.com/TDPS. That is signup.tagadab.com/TDPS.